It's time to get educated on the craziness impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses around the world. This is the Dr. Duke Show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Duke Show. Before we get started, please do us a solid and hit that share button so we can educate more patriots around the country and the world. Today, we are joined with Vicki McKenna for our weekly Culture Cast segment. Vicki, good to see you. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure, Duke. My pleasure.
I think we have really two very important stories coming out of the education field that don't presage well for the future of the country unless we get our minds and our hearts around eradicating this kind of systemic nonsense about racism. First, we have a situation where we have New York University student kids petitioning for black-only housing so they can feel included. And not only are they petitioning for black-only housing, they want the fraternities and sororities that have been on campus for decades and decades and decades to be vacated, to throw the largely white fraternity and sorority girls and boys off and give those buildings to all the minority groups as a form of reparations.
Yeah, well, this is the left's theory of everything. So they tried environmentalism and they tried climate change. And they couldn't really make it stick because nobody really cared. But everybody in America is horrified for being accused of being racist. So we've let a lot of this go for several decades and now not realizing that it was metastasizing into this. Look, this is what they're attacking, the very concept of property rights. And if they're attacking the concept of property rights on a college campus, do you think that they might be attacking the concept of property rights in your neighborhood someday? Of course that will happen. You have got, and this was not included obviously in this story, but going on Capitol Hill, you have got an attack on the very concept of democracy and the obliteration of any kind of election integrity control, with Joe Biden claiming that the reason we have to blow up elections in the United States is because John Lewis fought the civil rights fight back with Martin Luther King, and black people apparently cannot be expected to produce photo ID or sign a document saying they are who they say they are. So we have to federalize all elections, effectively destroying our voice to stop any of this. And then after that, you've seen what the federal government is willing to do with the CDC, declaring that hospitals should be permitted to and encouraged to declare racism as a comorbidity in treating COVID. It just keeps unwinding. It is the political theory of everything, and it can and will consume America if we are not willing to do something dramatic to stop it.
On another level, this goes to a point that I have made time and time again. When you scratch the surface of Black Lives Matter rhetoric, it really isn't about race. It's about communism, socialism, the spread of Marxism. And think about what they're doing here. They're using race as the excuse to engage in a very socialist, collectivist seizing of property that doesn't belong to them. Take a quick look here at the petition itself. Here's what they're asking for. They're asking for, we members of the black student body demand that NYU implement black student housing on campus in the vein of themed engagement floors across first-year and upperclassmen resident halls. Here's what we're asking for. Floors completely comprised of black identifying students. Black programming and in-hall events curated by the RA for the Floor community. Required bias and diversity training for all residents before entering NYU housing. Disciplinary action for discriminatory racist behavior within the residence halls, which clearly wouldn't apply to the black students. And the creation of a board of student leaders in residential life focused on tackling issues of diversity and racism within the res life halls.
And the thing is, it doesn't surprise us that this is happening right now. It doesn't literally surprises no one unless you've been sleeping under a rock for the last several years. So you have got and you're right about this being about communism and being about socialism. And we've just swapped out class for race. The otherized group, and if you've read Gulag Archipelago, you've read some of the stories about the rise of communism, the destructive, declarations made by those who have, assigned themselves the privileged group category. Very bad things can happen. Very deadly things can happen. And so so now instead of it being the merchant class or the business class, it's anybody who is not in the oppressed class that has become otherized. And we are not allowed to escape the collective identity. We're not allowed to declare ourselves individuals. My goodness, no, we've gotten rid of God, so we have no actual reason or logic to be able to do that. We are just never going to be allowed to escape the condition as oppressor. And it is going on right now in this world, in North Korea. That is exactly how the culture of North Korea operates. You're never allowed to escape the declaration that you are an oppressor. It doesn't matter if you're 3 generations down, 10 generations down. That is the vision. That's the utopia that these power mad, ignorant, historically ignorant, selfish, unmoored from any kind of morality, leftists have in store for us. And we all sit around and we think, oh, it couldn't possibly happen. I mean, come on, this is kind of silly. 5 years ago, people were laughing at this. They shouldn't be laughing at this. And this will escape containment on campus in very short order.
It's odd. It's as if these minority groups are seceding from the union and segregating themselves, but all the while insisting they keep your property when they break away. It's the worst of both worlds. After the break, a similar story.
Are you a fan of the show? Consider joining the Patriot Club. Your tax-deductible donation of $99 a year keeps us going. Simply visit patriotclub.us. That's patriotclub.us to pledge your support and receive our signature tumbler as a token of our appreciation. We've got much more to come. Stay with us.
Joined again by Vicki McKenna for the second part of our Culture Cast, and this is one I think that ties perfectly into the first one. You have Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, for the 18th millionth time, looking into the cameras and telling a flat-out lie. This time he's talking to a group of minority black kids at a university, and he is telling them that he was arrested during civil rights movement for the racial struggle. I mean, this is the same guy. He told us that, remember when he was in South Africa, he was arrested going to see Mandela. Now, you're right, now he was arrested marching in the street. This is the guy who cozied up to, in the 70s, all the segregationists. He was friends with Robert KKK Byrd, right? There wasn't a segregationist former Klansman in the Congress who he was not buddies and chums with. How is it that the president of these United States can look into the camera and lie day in and day out repeatedly, and not a word from the progressive left, who accuses everybody on the right for lying all the time?
Yeah, and everybody on the right is guilty, again, collectively. If one person on the right makes a misstatement even, never mind lies. But this is and you know this, I mean, you're part of the university culture, so you see it every single day. The leftists exempt themselves from the rules. And I can spend an hour telling you how the left has exempted itself from the rules just in the last 3 weeks. They exempt themselves from the Constitution. They exempt themselves from the rule of law. They exempt themselves from basic administrative rules. They exempt themselves from morality. They exempt themselves from any judgment. They exempt themselves from hypocrisy. So Joe Biden telling a lie about being at the civil rights struggle, you know, all you need in order to pass in the minds of the left is to be able to be part of the use value, part of that utilitarian demand that they have, that you become part of the solution. And their solution is about tearing down morality and tearing down the Constitution and tearing down this culture and replacing it with something ugly like North Korea or Russia or Nazi Germany. So they've exempted themselves. You know that. You've talked to students. They're proud to be ignorant. They're proud to be caught in a lie because you're already illegitimate, so it doesn't matter.
We just saw last week the wise Latina, the Sonia Sotomayor, just out of left talking, lying and or demonstrating gross ignorance, and the cows on The View actually defended her, even though what she said was wrong. She was really right. And so take a look at Joe Biden telling this particular lie.
I did not walk in the shoes of generations of students who walked these grounds, but I walked other grounds because I'm so damn old I was there as well. They think I'm kidding, man. Seems like yesterday, the first time I got arrested. Anyway.
Joe Biden, driving a truck, getting arrested, doing it all.
Hanging with corn pop,
Jeez.
doing it all. I mean, the only thing that explains this is that it's okay. He checks the right box in terms of his use value. I mean, he's an old cisgender white guy, but it doesn't matter because that old cisgender white guy is kowtowing to every demand from the most radical elements of the left. The only reason you might want to run away from Joe Biden, as apparently Stacey Abrams did, was because he looks like a dementia-addled, drooling fool, which is exactly what he is. But again, this isn't about Joe Biden as an individual who palled around with segregationists. This is about Joe Biden's use value as part of the collective. So when he becomes useless, they'll start criticizing him. But right now he's useful. He's trying to blow up the filibuster to destroy the very concept of this republic, which is allowing us to vote and have our vote be meaningful enough that we trust that it counts.
Today's show is sponsored by Clean Start Hand Sanitizer. For an odor-free foam hand sanitizer that lasts 2 hours and provides 19 refills, visit freedomproject.com/clean. That's KLEEN to order yours today.
Okay, it's time for Trending Left. We have compiled some of the craziest social media content making waves across the internet for your viewing pleasure. We start at Waynewood Elementary School in Fairfax, Virginia, where a woman captured an elementary school holding class outside in 24-degree temperatures. Now, before you get upset, this is obviously another example of showcasing how much public schools care about the safety and well-being of children, or not. Take a look.
She is reading a story to all these kids sitting outside in hats and coats and gloves. It is 24 degrees outside. 24 degrees. This is absolutely unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Why don't they just have classes at the morgue and put each of the children in one of those little refrigerated boxes they put corpses in? Because that's exactly what they're preparing them for. Now that we're on the subject of craziness and cold, we head to Salem High School in Massachusetts, home of the Flying Witches, where a back-from-break email from a world history teacher reminds parents and students that they will continue to leave the classroom window open all winter long to keep COVID outside where it belongs. They advise students to deal with it by simply dressing warmer. And they also point out that students will still be encouraged to eat lunch outside until the temperature drops below 20 degrees. Yeah, I remember all those times when I had the flu, when I had the typical cold growing up, when, I got sick. First thing my mom did was open all the windows in the house as a way of making me feel just oodles better. Speaking of things that don't make sense, a preschool teacher has joined the fad in letting the world know that she not only identifies as non-binary, but that she definitely makes it a point to train her 3-year-olds not to misgender her. Him, it. Let's take a watch.
So I'm a non-binary preschool teacher, and my kids know I'm non-binary. They know I'm not a girl or a boy. I use they, them pronouns in the classroom. We work on it. Not all the kids get it. That's okay. And I go by Mix Gray in the classroom, not Miss or Mr. Mix. And today one of the kids goes, hey, we've got 2 boy teachers in the classroom because the other teacher in the classroom at the time was a guy. And I go, no, there's not. I'm not a girl or a boy, remember? And she goes, oh my God, wait, does that mean you're dead? So I think that's my new gender now. I think I'm gonna change all my gender settings to dead.
Yeah, and you send your kids to preschool because you think they're going to get a leg up reading, writing, and doing math. The only function of pre-K in this modern world of ours is to get your kids a head start on sex, sexuality, and pronouns. Keeping the non-binary train chugging down the tracks, a young high school teacher who goes by the name Magistra Y, because she's not a Mr. or a Mrs., is excited to share all the things she and her school have done to make things more comfortable for the non-binary community. Because, that's what really matters when it comes to public school education.
My name is Magistra Y. I'm non-binary and I am a high school teacher. So today I thought I'd tell you a little bit about what I've done and what my school has done to make me feel comfortable out as non-binary at my school. The first thing is really easy. I wear a pronoun pin every day. I wanted to have a few visual cues in my classroom to show students that it is a welcoming and inclusive place. So one of the things I did was I put a pride flag on my desk. I used the title Magistra instead of Mr. or Miss, and the IT team actually managed to code it into the system, so anytime my name pops up, it comes up with Magistra Y instead of Mr. or Miss. And I don't think they did this on purpose, but my classroom is right next to the gender-neutral bathroom.
If you're going to identify yourself by the letter Y, shouldn't you be making that XY? I mean, after all, you're non-binary, which means you're, what, neither XY or neither YX or I don't know. And that wraps up this segment. More complete nonsense to discuss with you next week. It's time now for some real education. We've been talking about new beginnings and new beginnings of years this week, and we talked a little bit about the Chinese New Year yesterday, and I wanted to come back around to that and give you a little more explanation of what exactly is the Chinese calendar and what is the Chinese celebration of New Year. Well, for all of this year, 2022, this is the year of the tiger. Starting from February 1st, 2022, all the way and ending on January 21st, 2023. This particular time in the calendar means it's not just a tiger is the symbol of the New Year, but a water tiger. Years of the tiger have included 2022, 2010, 1998, 1986, 1974, 1962, 1950, and 1938. The tiger is known as the king of all beasts in China. The zodiac sign of the tiger is a symbol of strength, exercising evil, and bravery. Many Chinese kids wear hats or shoes with a tiger image for good luck. The tiger ranks third among the animals of the Chinese zodiac. Take a look at the picture here. Here are all the creatures of the zodiac. The 12 zodiac animals are in order: the rat, the ox, the tiger, the rabbit, the dragon, the snake, the horse, the goat, the monkey, the rooster, the dog, and the pig. Each year is related to an animal sign according to a 12-year cycle, obviously. And if you happen to have a birthday as the tiger, then here are some interesting facts according to Chinese astronomy. Lucky things for people born in the year of the tiger. Your lucky numbers are 1, 3, and 4, and numbers containing those numbers like 13 and 43. Your lucky days, the 16th and the 27th of any Chinese lunar month. Your lucky colors are blue and gray and orange. Lucky flowers is the yellow lily and the cinnaria. Your lucky direction, or directions, believe it or not, are east, north, and south. Your lucky months are the 3rd, the 7th, the 10th Chinese lunar months. Things the tiger should avoid: unlucky numbers 6, 7, and 8, and numbers containing them, 67 and 87, for instance. Your unlucky color is brown. Your unlucky direction is southwest, and your unlucky months are the 1st, the 4th, the 5th, and the 11th. So if I were you, I wouldn't fly Southwest Airlines wearing a brown shirt anytime on those months. And other than that, you should have a great year of the tiger. And think too about this. I mean, there's a loose connection between the Chinese astrological signs and Western culture's pagan use of them as well. A lot of this stuff is cute and funny, has no real bearing. I think what's very interesting about the Chinese way of handling this is you don't have a lucky number, you have lucky numbers. You don't have a lucky color, you have lucky colors. And so it makes great fodder for fortune cookies to have that much variety in what you actually see the year of the tiger, or any animal for that means being.
If you have a question for Dr. Duke and Katie, please send it our way by emailing askduke@fpeusa.org.
And that's going to do it for this show. I'm Dr. Duke. Until next time, stay educated, my friends.